Hello everyone! Today I'm going to show you fun and simple ideas that you can fill your sketchbooks with. This video is sponsored by Karin markers, so I'm going to use their markers for all of the ideas, but you can recreate them with all kinds of media that you have at home. I've already created 3 videos using these pens, and I have to say that I love them so much and look forward to using them even more in the future. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's get into the video. Let's get our sketchbook and let's get started with the first idea. I got inspired by these socks that I found at the store, and I looked at them and I thought, I want to use them for an art piece. That's a very normal reason to buy socks, right? So here you can see me picking the colors that I wanted to use, and I was matching them very loosely. So I was picking similar colors, but I didn't really go through all of my pens to see which one was the most perfect one, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much, does it? And I just got inspired by this, and at first I kind of copied those trees, but then I started to change the things a little bit later on and added in a bit more details. I really love the way that the bunny turned out, to be honest. I think it's very cute. I love the way that it's simplified, and that's probably my favorite part about this page. And then I did this leaf that you can see on the sock on the right, and later on decided that I need more leaves there because it looked kind of too boring for me in a way. And then I started this combo of the owl and the fox, and I don't think that the owl looks like an owl, does it? It looked like an owl on the sock. I don't know if it looks like an owl here, but yeah, so this is how far we are so far. And then I did this L shape to complement all of the other shapes and fill the page. And I did my own thing here. Just inspired by the style, I did this landscape. There are mountains on the sock. I just changed them a little bit, changed the colors a little bit, and there's the snow on the mountains. And here's also, I decided to add more line art, more details, because it was a little bit too simple for me. And honestly, I have to say something here. Simple art is much harder than detailed art, and that's something that I've discovered more recently, and I don't know why that's never been on my radar, but it's just true. Because if your art's simpler, it just has to have straight lines and you can see every single mistake. The more details you add, the more mistakes you can hide. So I added a bit more details, and here's the first page that we did for today. And then the next idea, we're gonna need some tape, and I put this tape on my pants first so it's not too sticky. And then I started to paint a wave. There I realized that there's cat hair on the pen. And I used a bit of water for this, because you can use water with Karin markers to make them blend a bit more. And here I'm using my Canson XL Mixed Media sketchbook, and it's not watercolor paper. I found that these pens work amazingly well on watercolor paper, and mixed media paper is just hard to work on, and the pens did really well, especially with the paper. And I just don't expect a lot from mixed media paper, to be honest. I know a lot of people love it, but I'm more of a watercolor gouache kind of artist. I use a lot of water, and also with these pens I love to slap a lot of water on the paper, and mixed media paper doesn't always do too well with that. It bled through the other page a little bit, but I decided that this was the last page of this sketchbook. Yeah, that's a little secret that I am now revealing, is that I ripped out a bunch of pages from the sketchbook because it's so thick already and it's just too hard to draw in it at this point. And I'm using the paper for different projects. Since it's spiral bound, you can easily rip them out. So next week, you're gonna get a sketchbook tour for this sketchbook. And I'm so excited because I've had this sketchbook since 2017. So you're gonna see a lot of different kind of art in that one. And this is more of a not so polished sketchbook. I have my more polished sketchbooks, and that's one of the less polished ones. So I'm excited to see if y'all are gonna like it, so stay tuned for next week's video. And you can see here that the wave is coming together now, and I love the pink blue combo and purple. Those are my favorite colors. My favorite color is actually turquoise, but purple, pink tones, they're on the list as well. And so I'm really happy with how this turned out. And now I'm removing the tape. It was not completely clean, so I cleaned it up a little bit with some white paint, and now you can barely see that. And here is the finished page spread. No, it's just one page. The finished page. Here's the page spread. And it fits together because of the pink, I think. And for the next one, you're gonna need some kind of packaging. I used the etiquette is the label. Label is the word in English. Yeah, it's called etiquette in German and probably also in French because that word sounds very French to me. And I used that label from this juice, innocent juice. It's like a smoothie. And I put that on there because I thought that I would at some point turn this into a sketchbook page. I had already glued that in months ago. And now is the day, today's the day where we are gonna finish this page spread. And let me tell you that this was a journey. This was a whole journey, this page. I was kind of losing my mind with this. At this point, it was still looking cute. I decided I'm gonna put this, I think it's a tangerine. In German, it's called Mandarine. So you can learn some words here, and I can learn them too. This thing with the eyes, it's kind of cute. I like the way that looks. It's cute. So I decided to copy it here as well and to have it again. I don't know why we need it on the same page twice, but I thought it would be fun to just draw this thing as well and have this kind of as the main focal point of the portion that I did. And here's where it all went downhill. And I hated this. I hated all those details. This is why I cut those out. Literally, I cut it out of the page and then put some paper, some craft paper behind this. And so it looks much better now. And we kind of got rid of that. And we're not gonna talk about this again. And then I did more of the very simple doodles. I was debating whether I should add more details with colored pencils, but since the details that I tried to do were already so hideous, I decided no, I'm gonna leave it at that. And it looks kind of cute. It's not my favorite art piece that I've ever done, but if you want to do something simple, something doodly, get inspired by some kind of packaging, find something that has a pattern on it, and you can continue the pattern or change it up a little bit. Do whatever you want with that. This is a very mindless activity and something to do as a warm-up exercise, I would say. It's probably not the best art piece you're ever gonna create. I mean, some people are probably gonna go ahead now and create a masterpiece that's inspired by packaging, but I just wanted to doodle a little bit with this, and I think I've achieved that. Now I've also decided to make this more orange, and that's what I did. And the glittery part was water resistant, so here's the finished page spread of this one. And for the next idea, you're gonna need some black paper, and I have this super fancy watercolor paper, but quite honestly, it doesn't really matter. Just black paper is fine, I assume, because we're gonna use the markers and it's not watercolor, so you probably only need black paper, but I have this, so why not use it? And I use metallic markers for this. And I just love those so much. They're so much fun to use. Here you can see all of the colors swatched on black paper and how opaque they are. Not the black, obviously, but everything else super visible on the black. So very fun to use on black paper. And I did this very, very simplified landscape. I was going for this kind of vibe that you would see maybe in a children's book. What's that car doing there? Go away. And now doing in the sky, I'm doing this kind of doodle. And I love this. This is my favorite part of the piece. I don't think that the piece is super strong when it comes to the landscape. Maybe that's good because it doesn't take away as much from the sky doodle, but I would love to revisit this idea maybe on a bigger scale and figure out what to do with the foreground so that it doesn't take away too much from the sky. Maybe move the horizon a little bit. I don't know. I might use this idea again because it's just so much fun and I love these circly bits lately. I love including that in my design. I don't know how to call this, but I'm starting to put this into my personal style and starting to define my personal style a little bit more. And I really love the way that that looks, to be honest. And just look at the sky, don't focus on the rest. And here I thought it was finished, but then I decided to get rid of that door, and then it had to dry before it looked good, but I forgot to film that, so I'm very sorry. But for the next piece, I also used black paper and got a cat hair on my tongue. Ugh. And now I started to draw a landscape. And the point of this idea is to see how your pens or medium, whatever you're using, looks differently on the black paper versus on the white paper. I don't know what I expected. I didn't expect to create a masterpiece here. I just wanted to experiment and see how it would turn out, and that's exactly what happened. This is not my favorite art piece that I've ever created, but I feel like I learned a lot. And for this one, I was using the pigment deco brush markers, and those are more or less opaque. You can see it on the black paper. They're a little bit transparent, but also opaque. So they look a little bit different on the black, just different enough that this experiment would work, but they're visible on the black paper as well. If you're using watercolor or something like that, you can't really expect it to be visible. But if you have an opaque medium like gouache or these pens, then you can try this. And I don't know if the part on the right is a night scene and the one on the left is a day scene. That would have probably been better and a better idea than what I did. And I tried to match the water, the color of the water as closely as possible. And also the grass is very similar. And then the sky and the tree is where it looks very different. So I don't know, it looks a little bit off for me, and the idea that I wanted to do doesn't come across as much as I wanted to, but there are still some elements in this illustration that I want to continue to use. And in the end, I also decided to add in this little bunny, and also did that on black paper and put that in here as well. I mean, I don't absolutely hate this page spread, but it's also not my favorite thing. maybe you can create something better with this idea. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel, and also don't forget to check out all the links in my description box for my shop, for Karin markers, my new gouache course. I'd love to see you there, and until next time, goodbye. A message in a bottle charmed my dad, turning 21, and that's the reason why I'm not a musician.